Hello and Happy New Year 2026. Can you believe it? It is 2026. 26 years since the countdown for the year 2000. Do you remember that? When we were all waiting in 1999, right, for the year 2000. And here we are 26 years after that. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, how are you? Has your year started off well? Are you having a good quilting year already? Have you already started your quilting goals? I know many of us are in the A Day Away mystery. Hello, Cassie. So good that you're here. The A Day Away mystery started with some practice techniques with the clammy, Latifah's clammy, and then with Guyleen's Polygon 5. But today starts the official making of the mystery quilt. Part 1 was revealed today. So that is a big project that many of us are working on this year. Hello, Lori is here. Happy New Year. So glad that you're here. And many of us are going to be challenged this year with all kinds of quilting projects. I hope you will be challenged. I hope you're ready to grow. I know that last year was a super, super big year of growth for me on many fronts. And hey, there's Jacqueline. Hello, Jacqueline. And I want to share with you later a tip that Jacqueline gave me with ruler quilting. I can't wait to share that. Thank you, Jacqueline. So today, what are we going to talk about? What is the topic? The topic is my new tool. That was part of last year's. It takes a lot of work to get a tool made, designed, made, inserts, wrapped, shipped, all of that. It takes a lot. And I learned so much about the process and about myself during that. Does that happen to you that when you embark on a project, that you think, can I do it? Is it going to be challenging? What am I going to learn? Have you pushed yourself in areas that you never thought that you would survive? And you did. You survived it. Well, I survived it. And because I did, you can now get the STITCHLINE Ruler Quilting 3-in-1 tool. I'm so happy. There's Wilda. Hello, Wilda. How are you? So we're going to do a live demo. And we're going to talk more about this tool and why I love this tool and why I made it. And if you didn't know this tool is in the A Day Away mystery. So those who signed up last year for the A Day Away mystery quilt, they received 3 tools. The Clammy 9 by Latifah, the Polygon 5 by Guyleen, and my STITCHLINE ruler quilting tool. So each designer included a tool in the toolbox. So for some of you who aren't in the mystery, you can now get the tool. Those in the mystery got the tool first. They got the premier tool, the first tool, first access when we shipped it out last November. And I finally got the last shipment. And I had to prepare for that. How do you prepare to receive hundreds of acrylic tools? Well, you put a table out on your porch for the FedEx guy. That's what you do. I put out a 6-foot folding table so that he could have some place to put all those boxes. There they are. One by one. I bought those in the house. And of course, the day before, what did I have to do? I had to make space. And so, Wilda, you know those bags that you gave me to store quilts in? Thank you. Thank you, thank you, because now those quilts are in those bags and it made room for my new tool. So thank you, Wilda. The quilting community is so wonderful. We are all helping each other. Hey, there goes Marcia. And so if you ordered the tool late December, early January, I put on my website, pre-orders were accepted. Pre-orders were accepted because I knew they were coming. All the pre-orders were shipped yesterday. It took me a minute to count them, to sort them, to create a shipping station on my dining room table. That's what us solopreneurs do. We do everything on our dining table, but I bet many of you do your quilting on your dining table, right? You don't have a dedicated sewing space, so you do your quilting on your dining table. So I do my shipping and my fabric cutting on my dining table. So I got that all done yesterday. It took me a while, but I got it done. And then I carried the bags to my car and then drove the 20 minutes to the post office. And then, guess what? I was guilty of occupying the solo post office worker for about 15 minutes. The line got really long behind me. Yay. So that's what's been happening. And if you haven't heard about this tool before, I'm going to share with you today why I like this tool, why it's great for both long arm and domestic machines. It's the STITCHLINE 1, the first in the series of tools that I hope to make, and it's a 3-in-1 tool. You can make beautiful straight line designs and curvy designs with it. So I can't wait to show you more about the tool. Let's see who else is here. So Karen is here. She's also in the day away. She, like many others, have been sick. So I hope you're feeling better, Karen. What else did I want to share with you? I think that's it for now. Let's go to the machine. I've started a project. If you were here when I first mentioned this quilt, the Flying High was quilted with the STITCHLINE tool. So I shared that last month, and I showed you some of the techniques that I used to stitch it. And I'll go over that again. But before we do that, let's go to the demo. I know that's why you're here. You want to see this in action. But while I was sharing the Flying High, I talked about how to make the silhouette and using software to do that, and then showing how I designed some other fabrics. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun? And Jacqueline, you saw the fabric and you said, oh, I like it. I like the fabric. Do you remember, Jacqueline? I got the fabric and I ordered more. And so I said, why not stitch that tonight? And it's the same silhouette, but with the words love attached. So I'm going to switch to the camera for my machine. You won't see my face, but you'll see my hands and you'll see the fabric and the tool. Let's go over there. Well, wait a minute. Before I do, let me quickly share some of the designs that we can make with the wavy side of the tool. And we're going to stitch waves tonight. This is the wavy side. Oh, you do remember, Jacqueline. Okay, great. So this is some of what you can stitch. And you just use the lines on the ruler to stitch these. So I like to practice with fabric where the thread will blend, and then the back where you can see the contrast, so you can actually see the design. So that's one thing you can do. Here's another thing that you can do with it, right? These are beautiful edge-to-edge designs. I just love this. And you can make it as tight or as loose as you want. And I think I talked about this too last time. Cross hatching with wavy. Isn't that fun? I love cross hatch. And again, we only have to mark one line on our quilt to do that. And if you have a diagonal line in your project already, you don't have to mark anything, which is what I love. I don't have to mark. And then you can do something like this across a quilt, right? Isn't that fun? I just love all this texture. All right, so those are examples of what you can do with the wavy side of the ruler. Now let's go to the machine. All right. You can still hear me. And I'm going to bring my laptop over to make sure I'm showing you. I want you to see. So what's great about the tool is when you get the tool, you're going to get a card in the tool. On that card is a QR code. And on that QR code, which is this right here, you scan it with your smartphone and it takes you to a series of videos. And I'll show that to you later. So this is the card. It comes with it, and then you will scan the QR code. But guess what? If you lose the card, no worries, because the QR code is also on the tool right there. And it takes you to the same series of videos. Love that, right? So, of course, you need a ruler foot, and that is a separate purchase. Ruler foot doesn't come with the tool. You have to get a ruler foot, and most machine companies now make them. You also need something to grip the fabric, and I've used on the back here are these So Steady or Westerly Design stable tape dots. These dots here. So this is one option, and I'm going to show you another, and that's that. And then Jacqueline, thank you, Jacqueline, you told me about these here. These are ruler grips. So I said, well, why don't I try a few of those? And that's what this is. These are the ruler grips. Non-slip adhesive rings, and then there are dots in the center. So I took the dots, left the square because it's not opaque. It's not transparent, rather. It's a little opaque. So I didn't want to put on too much. So I said, let me just try it and see how it goes. So I like that. And so here's the fabric. It has the beautiful sister face on it and love spelled in different ways, all 4 letters throughout. And so I designed this using the technique I shared in the last video from last year in December. I've already started to quilt some waves. Of course, you can see that texture. I love all this texture. So beautiful. Now, I didn't mark anything on my quilt. All I did was use these invisible seams, right? This is one whole piece of fabric. I used the invisible seams in between each of the letters. And then I used the lines on the ruler to help with the first placement. So whenever we stitch and have the foot next to the ruler, we are stitching a 1/4 inch away. When we're a 1/4 inch away, we are able to stitch consistently, right? So with these reference lines, all I did was place this reference line right here along this invisible seam. And that helped me place the first wave of stitching. Once that first wave is in, I can now use the thread, the stitching on that, as a guide. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just shifting the ruler up and taking that same reference line, this one here, that's right here with the valley, and I'm making sure that it touches right on the top of these peaks each time I stitch. So let's do that for the next one here. I'm just going to bring this over, line up this first reference line right here on the peak of what I previously stitched. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll look at what was stitched previously and pre-visualize what's going to stitch right next to it. And I think, okay, yeah, that's going to look good. Once I have that placed, I'm always looking at the ruler placement up here, all the way down, and that's good. So I like that. Once that's in place, I can now start stitching. Because the ruler is not the full length of our quilt, we have to stop somewhere. Excuse me. We have to stop somewhere and continue the design. How do we do that? We use these horizontal reference lines. These are one right here in the peak at the top of the hill. Then there's two on either side. These are all a 1/4 inch apart from each other. But I can decide to stop anywhere on the peak or the valley. And then when I adjust the ruler, I just shift and move to the same spot. So what I'm going to do, which is what I like to do, is I like to stop in the valley. And I'm going to stop right in the middle of the valley. This horizontal reference line right here in the middle. But of course I can use any of these. So I'm going to stitch all the way down and then stop right here in this middle horizontal line that's in the middle of the valley. Then I can shift the ruler. Once you pick a position to stop in, you want to use that over and over again. So let's get started. That's why the reference lines are important, because it helps us not have to mark our quilt. It helps us to continually stitch in the same location, the same design, without breaking the design pattern. So I'm going to do that. All right, here we go. Once my hand starts to get behind the machine, I want to move it forward. I double check my reference lines, make sure my ruler's in the right position, and I know I want to stop right here, which is in the middle of the valley. All right, I have my needle stopped right here with this horizontal line. And why is important is because I can't see underneath the foot to see where it's stopping. If I know that I want to stop between these two, and I want to stop on this line, once the foot starts to approach it, I can't see the needle. That's why I need a reference line to position it where I want it to stop, because I won't be able to see it once the foot approaches. So right here, it's on the middle line in the valley. Now I can shift my ruler down and I can bring it to this valley. Same reference line. Then I check this one and make sure that it hits the previous stitching right on top of the peak. So I'm checking here and I'm checking here, and I can continue to stitch. But I'm going to run out at the bottom, but that's okay. I'll just do a repeat of what I'm doing now. Or I can bring it over here. That line is the very edge of the ruler, that reference line. So if I bring the very edge and line it up with the needle, it's still going to stitch the continuous pattern. I like to stitch one at a time. I do not try and shift and go the other direction. I just do one column at a time. So you see how that works? I was able to stitch continuously without a break just by shifting the ruler and using the reference lines at a very strategic spot. What I like to do once I've made a decision that this is where I'm going to start and stop is that I'll take a little arrow as a reminder. These are ruler stickers that are very convenient, and I will place that right here on that central line, knowing that that is where I start and stop my curves. So I can start stitching, stop here, keep going, stop, and then if I have to continue the design, I know that if I just shift the ruler right here to this arrow, it's the same position in the design, the same continuous curve. Does it have to be this center one? No, we just pick any of them, but always the same. If I pick the very top one, then I would move the arrow to the very top horizontal line, and then I would do the same here, move it to the very top. So now I just repeat this process. Again, I know that I'm using not only horizontal reference lines in the valley, I'm also using vertical reference line, this one right here. So I'm putting a little green arrow to remind me that I'm using this vertical reference line. And that's the line that I will line up with the peaks. So I have a peak reference line that I use, and then I have a valley reference line. The valley reference line is horizontal, and the peak is vertical reference line. Once we have that system in place, it becomes almost automatic, especially if you do it over and over again. So right now I'm lining up my vertical reference line with the peaks of the curve. So I have it right here's a peak, here's another peak, so I'm good. Now I can start stitching. And I know that once I start stitching, the valley is my resting spot, my valley is my repositioning spot. So I'm going to rest here and then continue the design right here. All right. I'm going to stitch one more and then come back to the camera to see if you have any questions, because I can't see the comments from where I'm sitting. And we can talk about it. So I'm looking forward to teaching these techniques next week in several classes at Road to California. If you are headed that way, let us know in the comments if you will be at Road to California. The important thing with ruler quilting is light pressure down and keeping the ruler foot in contact with the ruler, right? There's my stopping point. That's where I will be able to continue the design by shifting the ruler to the same part of the curve. Once I do that, I check this vertical reference line, making sure it's lining up with the peak of the previous stitching. Once that's lined up, I can continue to stitch. What's great about this kind of quilting edge to edge, you can do this on a home machine. It's vertical stitching. You don't have to worry about the back of the machine. So I'm stopping here, repositioning the ruler. Making sure the arrow is pointing right at the needle, and my vertical reference line is right on top of the previous stitching on the peak of the curvy design. Once those two are in place, I can continue stitching. So that's how quickly you can stitch edge to edge. Isn't that beautiful? I just love all of this beautiful thread texture. All right, I'm gonna come back and we'll talk a little bit more about this. Let's see, does this work? Yay! All right, I'm back. So here are the comments. Let's see. Audio is fuzzy. Was it fuzzy the whole time? Because I had my microphone. Whoops, maybe it fell. Sorry, Marcia. It was hidden underneath my scarf. All right. Let me know if it's better. I'm trying to find the other part of this microphone. Let's see. All right, there we go. Whoops. All right, okay. All right, I can repeat. Can you echo the same wave, leaving space for odd waves? Yes, you absolutely can. You can echo any kind of wave you want. It just depends on the ruler positioning. You decide how far apart or how close you want the waves. Width-wise, and you can shift the way the waves go. This is just one design of many. So the audio is still faint? Or was that a little while ago? Yes, sound was unclear. Is it still unclear? I thought I fixed it. Please let me know in the chat. Still bad? That's odd. It's the same microphone I was using. Fine now. Thank you, Jordan. All right. So I can go over what I was talking about again if you want. Would you like me to do that since the audio was bad? I'd be happy to do it. Let me take it off the scarf. I don't know what that means. My volume is to 100 to here. Okay, let me try this over here. All right, how's that? My volume is turned all the way up, but can barely hear you. Same thing again. Testing, 1, 2, testing. Do I need to just, my audio was clear, says Cassie. All right, I turned the volume up on the microphone, on the transmitter. Is that better? Do I just need to talk louder? Okay, Jordan says fine. Jacqueline says better now. All right, previously when I was doing the live demo, the microphone was hidden and buried in my scarf. Now I've removed it. You can see it right here so that it shouldn't get buried. I've put it even closer. All right, before I go back to the machine, I want to make sure. Still low? Fine now. My audio was clear. Ladies. All right. I don't know what else to do because some of you say it's good, others say it's not. Mm-mm. After turning up. All right. So before I go back to the machine, let me mention this that no, I can just go back to the machine. Let's see. I don't know what else I can do. Ah, Lori says we'll all adjust. Good. I will just talk louder too. Hello, thank you. I sound fine there. Okay, good. So I will again do a demo. Some of you are just arriving, and hey, this is what happens with technology, right? We just go with the flow. All right, let me go back over. All right, let me go to. I'm going to go to the YouTube comments, and I'm going to ask you to let me know how the audio is now. I'm back at the machine. Let me know how it is. I'm talking as loud as I can. Hopefully this will help. I'll speak up. Yay, I got a thumbs up from Jordan. Even though you could not hear me earlier, you could still see me stitching. And what I have been doing is using two features that are on the ruler. I've learned over the years as I've taught ruler quilting that not only do we need vertical reference lines, we need horizontal reference lines. And they're also needle position lines where we can stop stitching and reposition the ruler so that we can continue a design. So we're using both. So let's do another wavy line and shift the ruler. I've decided, and of course you can use any of the vertical lines, to change the distance of the waves. I'm just using this line right here, which is the third line over, but I could use a line way over here, or I can use the first one here. I'm using the third one to create this distance between each waves. So we can change the distance based on what line we use. So I'm using the third line, and I'm placing that third line right on top of each of these peaks. Once I get that in place, and I like the position of it, I'm looking at, let's see. Yeah, that's about it. Now, do I have to go that high? Probably not. Yeah, okay. I'm going to do that instead. There we go. All right, so I'm putting this third line on top of the peaks of what I previously stitched. All right. I'm using the reference lines. I don't want to have to spend hours marking my quilt. So I'm using the reference lines on the ruler, and I had ruler lines specifically designed for this so that I don't have to mark. So it's learning how to use the reference lines to minimize marking and to create more designs. So the first one is this vertical line. This vertical third line on the ruler, I'm using it to create the distance between my waves and to do it consistently across my project. Now that it's in place, I can start stitching. But because the ruler is limited in length, I need to be able to find a place to stop on the ruler to continue stitching a continuous curve. I don't want a break in the design. That's where the horizontal reference lines come in. So there's a horizontal reference line which I indicated with this arrow. This same one which is in the valley is also in the valley at the bottom. So I can stop here and reposition, or I can keep going. I keep going. Here's that same horizontal reference line indicated by this red arrow. Now I can reposition the ruler because I know exactly where to stop. That's why I've put these horizontal lines, because we can't see underneath the foot. I bring the ruler to the same position, valley, middle horizontal line indicated by the red arrow. I make sure this vertical line that indicates the distance between my curves remains consistent. So I'm checking two things: needle position for a continuous design and the ruler position for the distance between designs. I decided that I wanted to use the third reference line on the ruler, and it has to line up with the peaks of the previous stitching, and that's what I've done here. So I check all of that before I continue stitching. Once that's in place, I can continue to stitch. The valley is always a good place to stop and rest and reposition your hands. Okay, so there we go. Continuous, you can't tell where I started or stopped in this design because I'm using the reference lines on the ruler. All right, I'm checking the comments now. And seeing, are there any questions? Audio is still good? Checking in with the audio. So don't try and remember all of this now. It takes time to learn these techniques, but when you see a ruler with reference lines, it's to help you to become more proficient in using the ruler to get numerous designs out of it. And I show you when you get the ruler, remember I mentioned that there's a QR code. If you're just joining us, when you get the ruler, on the back of the ruler, there's a QR code where you'll get a series of videos to help you. And if you lose the card, there's a QR code right here on the ruler. But it's just that easy. It just takes practice to learn the technique. Once you learn how to use the ruler reference lines, you are going to have a blast because it's going to be automatic. You just know you need two reference lines, a vertical reference line and a horizontal reference line. When you use those two together, you will create beautiful designs. So right now I'm lining up my vertical reference line. Remember, I want it to be right on top of the peak. of the curve. Once I bring that third reference line right on top, my ruler is in the right position. I can begin stitching. That's to help me get a consistent design across the quilt. And now I know I have a limited length on my ruler. I need to continue stitching. I need a place to stop. I stopped a little bit beyond my indicator here, and my arrow, which is the horizontal reference line, I'm just going to go back one stitch. Then bring the same reference line. There's two, right? There's two valleys. I'm using the same reference line on both valleys to help me reposition. So once the needle is in line with that horizontal line, I check my vertical reference line. Is it right on top of the previous line? Because otherwise we'll start to move the ruler like this and the curves will not be consistent. So I'm lining that up. I'm checking my vertical reference line. Everything is lined up. I can continue stitching. Stop there. Bring that one. And I can continue to stitch. All right, ladies. How fast was that to actually stitch now that you can hear me? These beautiful wavy lines. Gorgeous. Edge to edge. Okay, so I'm back. I want to share with you that once you scan the QR code, all you have to do is watch a series of videos. I have several videos attached to this. Let me show you what that looks like. Here we go. All right, you scan the QR code and you get to this screen right here. And one, it tells you about the features. Everything you need to know about how to use. I'm using my phone right now to show this to you. I go over the different features in the ruler. You get to see what kind of designs you can stitch with it. And then you just click on watch the next video. What ruler quilting accessories do you need? Oh, what was that, Lori? You love it, the bobbin window. Oh, yeah, nice tips. I think you noticed that. Okay. All right. So, oh, there goes Deanna. I don't have a stitch regulator on that machine, and that's no problem. Stitch regulator is no problem. You get to watch a video on the accessories, the different things that you need in order to use the ruler. You need a ruler foot, right? The ruler needs to have other things like we talked about earlier, which is either the stable dots or other things to help grip the fabric. And here's an example where there's dots, and there's another thing that you can use that is a thing called a grippy spray, and I'll show that to you. Once you go through that, you click watch the next video, ruler basics. We go through ruler basics, and I show you on both a long arm and a home machine. So you just go through each of those, then watch the next video. The next video is straight line quilting. I show you how to stitch 3 different designs, straight designs using the straight edge, and then I show you how to use the channel for stitching a ditch, but also for other designs. So just keep clicking next and learn how to use the ruler. This is all included. You get all of this when you get the ruler. So let me go over some of the comments and questions that I missed. Let's see. Audio is good. Let's see. Thank you. Is it okay that the machine I'm getting does not have stitch regulation? Can I still do ruler work? Yes, you can. I started free motion quilting with machines that didn't have stitch regulation, and the machine I was stitching on just a few moments ago does not have stitch regulation, so you can still do ruler work. And you can do it on a sit down long arm or your home machine. Absolutely. Let's see. Have you practiced quilt sandwiches ready to go? Yes, you sure need quilt sandwiches, Jordan. That is true.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Could you please repeat it?
I'm not talking to you, Siri. That's funny. Your phone is always listening. Oh, thank you, Deanna. The video lessons are good, she says. Fantastic. Yay. Let's look at, we already saw this already. Oops, I didn't want to do that one. I wanted to do this one. Here we go. Yeah. So this is the ruler. And remember, I talked to you about either using the stable dots, but you can also use the grippy spray. What is that grippy spray? I put the grippy spray on my long arm ruler. So, of course, I have the long arm ruler, which is a 1/4 inch thick. And you, on the back of the ruler, you spray this product, and it makes the ruler have grip. It's not glue, and it doesn't damage the fabric, but it does grip the fabric, which I like. And you only need a little, test it, and then you add a little bit more. Let me show you what that looks like. Excuse me. So I took mine outside. I got a box. I put my ruler on top of it, and this is the non-stick, non-slip coating. You shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, and you put it right on top. And then you just spray it. And you're going to see it go over the ruler, right? And when you do it the first time, you think, am I doing it right? Do I have enough? And I wasn't sure. So I think I added too much. So go light on it. I was afraid I wasn't doing enough. Oh, awesome. The ruler will not disappoint. Thank you. It is fabulous. Hey, there goes Rochelle. Hey, Rochelle. I didn't know you were there. So, yes, you don't have to use the grippy spray. It's an option. And remember, I mentioned the other product that Jacqueline mentioned, the ruler grip. So you pick which ones that you want. So the channel, Stitch in the Ditch, it's fabulous for that. I shared already on my YouTube channel a video on how to use the channel to stitch floating triangles. So the channel is not just for stitch in the ditch. You can do so much more. In the video series that you'll scan the QR code, I show you how to use the channel to make connected squares or squares on point, put it that way. It's really a fabulous ruler, if I do say so myself. And lastly, but of course not least, remember I told you that I stitched out the new flying high quilt pattern using this ruler. I did wavy designs in a lot of beautiful colors. I just had fun with thread. Let's take a look at that. So just go to your thread wall, your thread drawer, pull out your favorite quilting threads. And you ladies know I love Glide. I like Isocord. I also use some other embroidery type threads in my quilting. And I just had fun stitching wavy random lines using some of the techniques I showed you tonight. But it didn't matter where they went because I wanted them to crisscross. I did not want them to be a certain distance away. I just wanted to have fun. Then I stitched the hair. So right now you don't see the hair stitched, but guess what? I stitched it with the ruler. Again, take a look at the afro. You know, we always need to preview our designs and say, hey, what's going to work? And this is what I did. And this is an example where I stitched this on a machine that doesn't have stitch regulation. So my stitch length is all over the place. And I chose contrasting thread. Blending thread, you wouldn't see the stitch length variation, but I think it adds to it. I'm not going to take it out. I'm going to leave it as is. I love using rulers to stitch my projects. It's so much fun and so much to do creatively. So let's see. Hey, Miss Wilkins, I'm thinking this ruler would be perfect for my Q20. Yes, 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 it would be perfect for your Q20. It would. Indeed, indeed, it's the STITCHLINE 1, 3-in-1 ruler quilting tool. You are welcome. Happy New Year, Marcia. You're welcome. Yes, so ladies, the STITCHLINE 3-in-1 ruler quilting tool, my first quilting tool. I'm so excited. Sorry about the audio problems we had earlier, but you get the idea. That's just the wavy side of the ruler. You can stitch so many designs with this ruler. It's really big and long because it was made specifically for edge to edge quilting, right? I love the ruler and I know you will too. So, any other questions? This whole year, I'm going to share all kinds of tips and designs and techniques every time we come live to Quilt Conversations Live. I'm going to share something with the STITCHLINE ruler. So if you ordered yours during the pre-order and you were waiting for it to come in, I changed the website. It's no longer pre-order. Now it's in stock. So if you just joined us, you may have missed the photo where I showed I had to put a 6-foot table on my porch for the FedEx guy to bring in all the rulers. They are now sorted. I have my shipping station already. I ship on Mondays and Thursdays because it is what? About a 20-minute drive to the post office for me. That's what I do. I love to help ladies go from frustration to fabulous. Ladies, by the way, if you are new and you didn't know about Quilt Conversations Live, it started, when was it? 2021? This is the 5th year. So we're starting the 6th year. And now we have a watch party, a Zoom watch party. There are ladies right now in Zoom watching Quilt Conversations Live together. And we meet 30 minutes before. So we met, had a conversation, we caught up, we shared some projects, we talked about what was going on in our quilting life, and they're watching it together now. When this session ends, we're going back. I'm going to rejoin the Zoom party, watch party, and we're going to chat some more for another 30 minutes or so. So if you want to do that, just go to my website and you can join and learn how you can become part of the Quilt Conversations live watch party. We have a fun time. But not only do we do that each month, during the month, we are in a community on my website where we share comments, questions, projects. It's a place for us to continue our conversation. So join us if you want. We would love for you to be a part of the community with Quilt Conversations Live through the watch party and online community. All right, ladies. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Thank you for joining me. I hope your quilting year is off to a good start. Those of you that are in the A Day Away, you know today launched the first part of several parts of the mystery quilt. If you haven't started, don't worry. Remember you have 6 months, right? But don't wait to the last minute and make sure you do those first 2 pre-projects by Guyleen and Latifa because they prepare you for the entire mystery. All right? And those of you who are going to see me in California, I can't wait to see you in class. We're going to have fun on Bernina sit down long arms. We have free motion quilting classes. We have ruler quilting classes. It's going to be a blast. So, ladies, I will see you for the next Quilt Conversation Live. Did Lori already put that in the chat? When is that? February. It's always the third Friday of the month. And I forget what date that is. I don't think I checked. Let's see. February. 1, 2. It's the 20th of February. All right. Please join us. And if you are new to the Living Water Quilter Facebook page or YouTube channel, make sure you follow and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And don't keep it a secret. Tell your friends. Come and join us as we get together once a month to talk about quilting and what's going on in our quilty life. All right, ladies, I will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining me and learning more about the STITCHLINE ruler, the 3-in-1 tool to help you do some ruler quilting. If you're a beginner, this ruler is for you. If you are someone who's already started, this ruler is still for you because I put those special reference lines to help you make beautiful and dynamic designs. And those who took the Beautiful Sister quilt together and you received the flying high pattern, now there's a course on how to stitch flying high with the STITCHLINE 3-in-1 ruler quilting tool. You can stitch her with the ruler, curvy side, straight edge. I show you all of it step by step. And if you are new and you've never heard of this, just check it out on the website. The pattern is available. The ruler quilting course is available. Any of those that you are ready for. You want to make the pattern, but you're not ready to ruler quilt it. Maybe you want to do another type of quilting. You can just get the pattern. Maybe you don't want to use this silhouette. You want to make your own silhouette. Again, I got you. You can design your own fabric, and I show you how. Any part of the process that you are interested in and ready for, just go to the website and check it out. Go onto courses, quilting education, and decide which part of making this is part of your journey. I know that I think it's Jacqueline, who wants to design a family quilt and she wants to put some of their photos on fabric. She is beginning her process. Maybe that's you. You want to learn how to do that. You want to create fabric like the demo I showed tonight. That fabric was all designed, and then Lori, if I can say this, Lori is also starting her designing journey. She picked up EQ8, which is the electric quilt design software. That's where I do a lot of my designing. This was done in EQ8. So that's part of Lori's journey. We all have different journeys, and so I like to try as much as I can to help you with different parts. So go check it out. See what's there for you. Maybe it's just setting up your machine for rulers. You're just brand new. You know nothing about free motion quilting or ruler quilting, and you want to just get your machine set up. I got that for you too. There's a basic course to get you started on how to set up your machine. Free motion, ruler quilting. I've been working very hard the last few years to help you ladies go to the next step in your journey. And so let me know if there's something I'm missing that I should offer you, that I should do a course on. Let me know and I'll put it on the list. All right, ladies, I'll see you next time. I can't wait to see what you're working on. So join us in the community if you are ready in some of the courses. Join the community, post a photo, say hello, let us know what you're up to. All right, see you for the next Quilt Conversations Live. Have a wonderful month.